Hello guys, in today's episode we're gonna talk a bit about how to create at maximum capacity a PI tier 4. Before you start watching this, just so you know, this is gonna be taking like a long period of time to actually complete this explanation, because in order to produce this as at a maximum capacity with just one Omega account, it really just takes a lot of time to set up. But once you have it set it up, you're just good to go. And I will explain step by step how to find how to just get the right configuration and completing or finishing being able to do that on just a one Omega account, although we're going to use 3 different pilots as we have, if we, or 3 different characters, we're just going to have different characters. I'm actually just have to log in on my main on for this one. Sorry for this. Give me a second. So we're going to do the PI4. And let me just get back into the game first so I can explain a little bit more about it. There you go. I have the notes there as well, so I can just also follow while I explain. I wanted to just switch up the characters real quick and tell you, or at least just highlight you a little bit on those, because you will need just one Omega account, but you will need 3 characters to complete it. So as you can see, you will just need to have, all the characters filled. I mean, you can start from scratch, and if you're gonna start from scratch, it's gonna take you, I think, around 3 months. And the way to do that, well, first you will just need the skills. We know that. Let me just check. Okay, it's not from who we're looking for. First, it's just the skills that it's gonna take you quite a bit to train into. You need max skills on all the characters in order to complete this. I really recommend. I mean, there's no excuses not to do them, because you really need to just have max skills. I explained in the how to produce tier 2 video and why those are important. Why do you have to have them maxed? And there's just a couple of ways to do that. You'll obviously need the Omega account to do PI, but you also need a couple of other things. Because you want to train all the 3 characters, you just need to have multiple pilot training, which I don't think you can buy directly from Jira, but you can just buy it from the shop. And you will need, if you don't have the skills already, you'll need to have Omega for 3 months and to have in total 9 multiple pilot training, 9 of them. So you need 3 for each month, because it will take you 3 months to skill up those skills to max, including with doing a remap, and you have to do the remap as well. If we go at one of our alts, let me show to explain to you and highlight to you a little bit. So it will take you, I just added a couple other things, but it really takes you like under 90 days if you have them on queue. But also you have to do the remap, and the remap is to max out the attributes necessary for the Planetary Industry, intelligence and memory. Intelligence first, with memory as a secondary, and that will put you like right under the 3 months. So it will take you 3 months to just to skill those skills. And once you do that and you have all the skills, you can basically just start doing the things necessary. Now, I will likely just gonna make a video when I complete those skills for those characters as well. But that's the first step if, that you want to do, is to really just get the Planetary Industry, and I can just explain to you a little bit more in depth. Let me go through my notes that I have right here on the Planetary Industry. So I selected, I mean, you can do it with any tier 4 item. Also, this is going to be in more parts where I'll explain different types of things that you can do that with just one character, create those tier 4 at a constant rate. So we're going to do the integrity response drones. We're going to produce them at a constant rate, and you can definitely choose any other tier 4 that could be much more easily, but I think this is one profitable one, and this item is required for the Sovereignty Hub and the Sinos, and those will always be in demand. There's always going to be null-sec. You know, required also for like a bunch of structures in null-sec, so it is a pretty good tier 4 item to produce. Now, obviously, you can produce a tier 4, you know, with basic configuration and just move some things in, but we want to actually start from scratch. We want to just start from 0. So you want to just like extract those items, produce into tier 1s, then produce those tier 1s into tier 2s, those tier 2s into tier 3s, and those tier 3s into tier 4s. That's basically what we are looking for. And we want to do this in a synchronized manner, and like a manner that where we can manage it nicely. Let's put it that way. So in order to produce a tier 4 items, you have to go down the chain and actually see what type of materials you need. So I need gel matrix paste, I need planetary vehicles, I need hazmat detection systems. Also, before I go even deeper, I'm really just saying this because this is gonna take a long period of time. I really want to emphasize that before you watching the whole how to produce tier 4s, is that it's not for beginners. It takes a long period of time, and it's actually it takes quite a bit of initial investment. But I will show you how to start, you know, do this from scratch and go through the steps. All right. So, all right. Now that we got the disclaimer out of the way, let's get into it. So you basically go down the chain and see what is required for each tier 3 item. And I did a video, like I said, on those how to do that. And basically you go down the chain and find a common planet that the tier 1s are having common with each other, and you basically have that that planet, you know, like in cargo, you have that center, so you know what you need to do. So basically, so you can produce that tier 1 in just one planet. That's the core of one planet. You need to be able to do a tier 2 at maximum capacity, or at least to produce it twice, so you can just be able to export it. Now, I haven't done the calculations quite a bit, but you definitely need, I have done actually the calculations, is that you can produce gel matrix in, let's just say, one planet. You basically produce the necessary superconductors on one planet. You'll produce 5 per every hour from one extraction, so you're going to make 10, and you need 10 for to make it into the tier 3s per hour. So that's the rate that we're looking for. We're looking to produce from 2 extractors the tier 1s necessary for each tier in 1 hour. That's the goal. So basically we're looking to produce 10 superconductors in 1 hour, 10 biocells in 1 hour, 10 oxides in 1 hour. And from just one extraction you get 5, but if you have 2 extractions and produce those into those tier 2s, you have 10, so you basically have 10 every hour from each extraction. That's what we're looking for. That's the goal. I did a video, like I said, I'm gonna keep mentioning that because I really recommend watching that how to produce tier 3 video, because that video kind of gets incorporated into this one, because the tier 4 are just much more complex. It really just takes a lot of setups and a long time, because you need to train another 2 characters with, like I said, the things with the what it's called, yeah, multiple pilot training, and do the remap, so you can do that under 3 months. That's the goal. Once those 3 months are done, you completely finishing those skills, you can basically actually start doing the tier 4s. Before that, you really cannot. So we're gonna go. So you produce. If you watch the video, you know how to produce basically those tier 2s at a constant rate from 2 extractions and make 10 per hour. So you're gonna make them into tier 3s. Now that you know that, you know how the planets should work. I'm gonna talk a little bit how you actually distribute them between your 3 characters. So you have like those 3 characters, and each character has 6 planets. So we need in total 18 planets, right? Because we have 3. Why do we need 18 planets? Because you need 6 planets to produce this at maximum capacity. Because we're looking to make gel matrix. So if you introduce all of those, you make 3 gel matrix. But for the tier 4, if we look at the tier 4, you need 6. So you need to produce actually 6 gel matrix per hour. That means you need, for every tier 3 that you produce on one planet, you need to just double it. So basically, you just create another planet with the same configuration to create the tier 3 items required for the tier 4s. So every tier 3 items, you need to double it. So you need two planets that produces gel matrix. You need 2 planets that produces planetary vehicles. You need 2 planets to produce hazmat detection systems. You cannot do that in one planet because you don't have enough power input in the CPU. That's why you need to just do it on different planets. And those tier 3 items requires also 3 planets, right? So it means you need 3 planets to produce a tier 3 or 6 tier 3 items, and you need another 3 planets to produce another 6. So in total, you need 6 planets to produce a tier 3 at maximum capacity required for the tier 4. So that means just one character we requires to produce one of the input required for the tier 4. So that means we need to do the other 2 on another character, and you can just easily switch up, log off, because the omega count is for all the 3 characters that are in. So as you can see, we look at the character, it is omega, and if we're going through another character that we got, it's still omega on the same character. It's just that I'm using different types of pilots. I haven't bought like another omega for this account too. It's just because, they're on the same row. They're the same character or the same username. So that's why you can actually do tier 4s at maximum capacity in one character. Now, I know this is complicated. I know, because you clicked on this video how to produce tier 4s. It's not gonna be an easy explanation. If you haven't done any PI, you probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That's why it's gonna be pretty comprehensive and a pretty long video in that regard. So in total, now we go back to the tier 4 item. So in total, you need 18 planets. You have 6 planets, and we produce on each character. We produce the gel on one planet. Character produces the gel matrix, on the other we produce the planetary vehicles, and on the other we produce the hazmat detection systems. In all those 3 we combine and we make the tier 4s. So that's basically the configuration. We know that now you have to also split, because you're not going to have, for the example, the planets. Usually you cannot find systems where you have double the planets that you're looking for, because you need 2 storms, you need 2 gas, you need 2 barren, you need 2 ice, you need 2 lava, you need 2 plasma or barren, you need 2 plasma or lava, you need 2 ice or oceanic, you need 2 temperatures. So you cannot do that. You cannot find a system that has that many planets. So basically what you do is just to split. If you have between your characters the things that you do, so you can do it in one character. You can just have like, hey, I want to have on one character that I do storm, or the things require, or the planet that requires storm, the one that requires gas, the one that requires barren, and so on. On the other character, I'm doing the other things. So that's how you just distribute it between those. Now, those characters need to be connected on when it comes to those PI, right? And the one bottlenecks that you usually find is that, because for the tier 4 integrity response drones, is sometimes hard or difficult to find the right configuration or the system, because you also look to be like in one system. You don't look to just jump around between systems a lot, and that will take the toll out of it. It's just, you really want to be like in one place. I want to find one system that has all those planets. So you're looking to have at least one. The one that it's difficult, and it's you cannot find more than one, or it's kind of hard to find ice and oceanic, or a system that has that many, is because ice you require to have it 4. So what do you need to do with ice? Because let's just say I need 4 ice, so I need 2 for this, and I need 2 for this other item, this other tier 3 that is required. And that item, or one item from that is required to make into the tier 2s that goes into tier 3s. Let me just give you an so you guys know what I'm talking about. So if we go, I don't know, give me a second, miniature, I'm not sure if miniature is pencils. Yeah, I think viral. Yeah, the example of viral. So we're looking at viral bacteria, and it has ice in common with biomass that also has ice. So we need ice. We need that planet ice. That means we need to produce the viral agent, or the other item that is required for from ice. We need to produce it double. We need to double produce it. Now we know from the previous video that I explained that in order to make it at a constant rate, you need to extract 12,000 units of tier 0 that you need to produce into tier 1s and tier 2s. So in total you actually need the double amount if you want to produce on one character. You can definitely do it. You'll probably just need to install a couple more nodes, but on that planet I would probably not have it's going to be tight, and probably not have like any other items beside the extraction, and just making them into the tier 2s and have them right away just exported out of there. Basically no other facilities, so I can actually manage the necessary power required to make the double production, because you will need quite a bit of power to double from 12,000 to 24,000. So basically you'll just need to produce double of it, of this item. Yeah, and you split those planets between your different characters, so you can every character has like 6 planets, and each one of them can do that. And I'm gonna show you how to actually find. Give me a second. So there's a couple of regions that, because you want to do that somewhere in some more regions that you're looking for. If you're like a alliance nullseeker that has access to wide variety of systems, then this you can probably find the right configuration. There's like, because we're gonna look for the you know, systems that has at least one storm, one gas, one planet, one ice, one lava, one plasma, one temperature. This is for us. We can find that, or systems that have one storm, one gas, one barren, one ice, two lava, one temperature. And obviously, if you have the ideal, sometimes you can have that in like null six composition and just have like one storm and have like the double ice. That's basically what you need, double ice, or just have one planet of everything. Just have one oceanic as well, with alongside with the ice. But those are really a little bit harder to find. Now I'm gonna show you how to find the right configuration of systems, because I like to do that because you can do that. Let's just say you don't have, you're a somewhat new character that has Omega, and you want to do that like somewhere. You know, choose where to go. I like to do it like on C1s, wormholes, and there's like 3 regions in the game where you can actually do the C1s. There's AR 0001 or AR 0002 or AR 0003. And you know, as you can see, we go to .lan, and we just copy and paste those regions, and we're gonna put it on search. And let me show you. And how do you find the right configuration? So we know that we need a couple of planets. We're just going to click on the planets. Let me close this. And we're looking for the planets that we have. Alright? And what do you need? You need one from each. The only thing they probably don't need is... Actually, it doesn't show me. But yeah, you just have one. You just gotta look. Okay, which system do you have? Okay, this one is pretty good, but it doesn't have this ice. You keep looking for it. I have found myself a couple of them, so you won't. I'm only gonna show you how to do it. You can search yourself in your region and look for the right configuration if it has like the one planet required. So we know the planets that we need. Those are the planets that we need, and we know where to find them, and you can search them yourself and find the ideal configuration in one system. Now, I found a couple of systems in those ranges. For example, those that are in C1s. This is basically really not that populated, and well, you wonder how do you find, you know, those wormholes, right? It will take you forever to find those. Specifically those wormholes. Well, you don't have to do it yourself. There's like people in game that actually specialize in that type of thing. Gonna show you. I think I put them here. Wingspan delivery services. There's like those guys specialize, and you can go to their channels. It has a cost for like a C1 to find a C1, or they can find any wormhole basically, but you really want to just stick to like low activity wormholes because you're looking to do Planetary Industry. Also, you're probably looking to actually take over that wormhole, at least, especially if they're Planetary Industry, because you really just don't want to pay a lot of tax. You want to pay like 0 tax, or you know, and yeah, the right to those guys, you know, pay a fee and the wait. It will take a bit. It's not easy to find more specifically wormhole, but those guys can do it faster than you can, definitely. So, and you know, we know those what we're looking for. So yeah, I mentioned that you need a planet, that you need 24 units extraction of tier 0, the double amount, and you want to also set up all the extractions that are going on at a specific so you want to just extract at, like, have them all set up in the same day, or have them for the same amount of time. So I want to do this like every 4th day with every planet, so I don't have to do PI every time. So I can just basically, when I log in, I can just extract, log off, and switch the characters and basically do the same thing. I'm just going to the PIs and doing this like every 4 days, the same thing. Just extract. So I have a little bit better synchronization going on. That's the idea of it. On 4 days, you can definitely do tree extractions. You cannot set it too long for like weeks. It's a little difficult to do that for a longer period of time, because the more time you increase the extraction, the lower is going to be the amount. So you're looking for a specific amount. So having it on 4 days, it's actually quite nice. It is pretty nice. Yeah, going through the notes, see what I wrote. Yeah, you need at least 6 if you have your main already with PI, and 9. Yeah, already mentioned that for multiple pilot training. The remap, I mentioned that. Yeah, the tier 4. If we look at the tier 4, has 50 M3, and it just takes 8 days to reach 9,600 M3. So a facility of tier 1, it takes actually 120 days, but that's just one facility to produce a tier 2 item, like any tier 2 item. But you produce them from 2 planets, because we need 2 planets to maximize the production for the tier 3. So that means you need to just empty them out every 60 days, because you're gonna pick up around 5,000 M3 from one planet and around 5,000 on the other planet. Why I'm limiting only to 10,000? Because the extraction that you can do and have it in your, it's also 10,000. So you can only fill up to 10,000 in the extraction or the insertion in the planets. So you need to just empty them out every 60 days, the tier 2s. But they will be full in 120 days. So it's just that it's good to do it on 60 days, so you can pick them up from both planets and emptying them out. And the same goes for the tier 3s. They will be full in like 60 days, but you want to empty them at 30 days, because you produce those tier 3s and bring them to your tier 4s. And yeah, I mean, in every every 8 days, the tier 4 that you extract from, there's like 192 integrity response drones, 9,600 M3, and around 420 million. That's the cargo, which is around 1.7 billion per month, which is around 335 PLEX, which is around 2/3 of your Omega count. Now, I think it's because the calculations are a bit off, because you're going to produce the tier 3 items. No, they're not off. No, because you produce the tier 3 items on one planet, and you have the double. No, it's good. It's actually calculation. It's pretty exact. I was thinking what for a mirror for a second, but no, the calculations are actually pretty exact, because you produce 2 tier 3s on every planet, and that means you can bring them to tier 4. You can do that. So yeah, it basically it's 2/3 of your Omega, which is pretty good. I mean, the rest you can it's pretty good for a passive activity, but it takes you a little bit to set up. And like I said, you also want to have, you know, the planets to not pay taxes or not at all, or just low in case you want to support your corporation or alliance, because you're just going to do a lot of extraction from the planet and put it into the other planet, put things in, put things out, and that cycle is just going to happen every 30 days. Every 30 days and every 60 days from the other. But yeah, we're going to be like every month you're just going to empty out to your output for the tier 1s or tier 2s and move them into tier 4s, and every 8 days you're just gonna extract the tier 4, which is you know, that's basically what you're gonna make in 8 days. It's 906,000, and that'll be one of your cargo. And yeah, this is gonna be the first part on how to do tier 4s. It's quite comprehensive, and it's gonna take months to explain, because I will explain to you probably into the next episode if the deliveries find my my planets that I asked for, on how to, you know, how to create yourself, because you'll need to just also have shared locations with your alts. So I'll explain how to create shared locations, and how to create your own planets. So you just have the planets that are in those systems, and those are just gonna have you know, different planets that they're gonna have planetary what is the, it's called custom office, right? Custom. So I'm just gonna explain how to install one of it, because in order to do that, or they just added more things to this, because there was a bit different. No, you need integrity drones for this too. I didn't realize they changed this thing. It's definitely different. The custom office required different things, but now I guess it requires actually the items for the integrity that we're just gonna create as well. It's a little different, that's for sure. They changed the recipe for the custom office. Yeah. Well, yeah, you gotta have to, you know, install your own custom office, so you can just have like 0% taxes on those wormhole zeros. But I think myself, you know, that 1.7 billion per month, it is pretty good for just a somewhat passive activity in EVE Online, that you can actually PLEX your account somewhat close. And yeah, with extractions every 8 days. But let me know what you guys think about this video. I'm sorry if you haven't got what, or you haven't managed to follow. it's yeah, you have to know how to do PI before you can probably understand how to do it. But hopefully this video helps, and if it does, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.